Hi, everybody. How are you? Today, you're going to do a lesson this week on persuasive writing techniques. That is the skill of the week. The story that we're reading is called The Black Hole of Technology. I really hope that you like the theme of tech. I think it's so fitting for what is going on right now. And I think you'll really enjoy this lesson. It's, this job, my cousin actually works at an advertising agency in New York, and this is his job to come up with ads and commercials. So that's kind of what this lesson is about. It's why do we use persuasive techniques and what are they? So I want to go run through this. You're going to need this for the remainder of the year because you're going to do something with it. So if you need to rewatch this lesson, or if you need to look at the Prezi, I've included those resources for you. Plus, there's a note sheet. So if you just kind of need a visual, there's that as well. All right. So let's go ahead and run through this lesson and hopefully you'll enjoy it. Oh, so you want to argue? Bring it. I got my caps lock on. I thought that was really funny. So try convincing people about your position by arguing. No way. It never works. So you have to use persuasive techniques. So it's always have stories about my kids, but if my kids want something, if they came and yelled at me, do you think they would get it? Or if they told me I was stupid, do you think they would get it? No, but I'm a sucker. So if they use persuasive techniques, they're more likely to get something. So let's see, what is an argument? Well, an argument is a writer's opinion or claim. We studied claim with the last story, Teens in Tech. That's how it's all linking together. And that is a claim about an issue or a problem. And in a persuasive essay, which you will do more of, right, the further you get into school, a persuasive essay is basically an argument. And that argument is called a thesis statement. You're going to do lots of that in 7th grade. Okay, so that's what an argument is. Let's look. In order to make an argument that is a good one, you would need details to back it up or evidence to back up your thesis. We did this last week when I taught you about author's claim and perspective. The evidence that you could include, I will fix this spelling, sorry about that, logical reasons, facts or statements that can be proved, quotations from experts, examples that demonstrate or illustrate the author's ideas. We did that last week, okay? So this is just a repeat of what kind of evidence you could use to back up your thesis statement. All right, let's keep going. The next thing I want to show you is this man, philosopher. His name is Aristotle. That's how you would pronounce that. And he was a Greek philosopher, and he studied the art of persuasion. So I want to show you this little intro that has a little bit of information on Aristotle, but what are the persuasive techniques that Aristotle came up with? So go ahead and watch this.
Of appeals, logos, ethos, and pathos. 2,300 years ago, famous philosopher Aristotle argued that there were 3 ways to persuade someone. And these 3 persuasion appeals are the same modes of persuasion used today by politicians, advertisements, and public speakers alike. The first persuasive appeal is logos, or logical appeal. Logos is persuading by appealing to one's logical side through reason, often through facts, statistics, charts, and graphs. The second persuasive appeal is ethos, or credibility appeal. Ethos is persuading by establishing that the persuader is trustworthy, often through showing where one's information came from or by using an expert or testimonial. The last persuasive appeal, and often the most effective, is pathos, or emotional appeal. Pathos is persuading by appealing to one's emotions and by creating an emotional response, such as sadness or happiness. It is also important to note that good persuaders keep in mind the target audience when using logos, ethos, and pathos. This is called audience awareness. After all, it wouldn't make sense to show a toy commercial during a late-night talk show. In the end, it's important to use a balance of all 3 persuasive appeals. This will keep your audience engaged while keeping their trust in you. So next time you're aiming to persuade someone, use all 3 persuasive appeals. Then you can tell everyone you're cool like Aristotle.
Okay, so just a little intro to those things. All right, now let's move back out because I want to tell you about the first of 3 persuasive techniques. The first one we're going to talk about, I'm going to put, guys, did you notice my background on this Prezi? It's all like things that are like things to sell, products, okay? Because that's what this lesson is on. All right, I'm going to move to ethos, okay? So ethos, if you listen to that root word, ethos, sounds like ethics, okay? That's where it's coming. It's a Greek root. And ethos is when an argument is constructed based on ethics or the credibility of the person making the argument or claim. So it's like when there's a doctor or a lawyer or someone who has expertise in an area, that would make the argument more credible, okay? Because there's someone trusted that you can rely on to give you information. We call that an appeal to ethics. So you might have heard of that. So ethos, ethics. Okay. So you see that word. I'm pointing with my finger. I always forget. I can't do that. So there's that word, appeal to ethics. And what I also wrote here is authority, an appeal to authority. So the author or creator's credibility or believability here is really important. Sometimes, like I said, they will call that an appeal to authority. So the questions you can ask is why should the audience trust the speaker? Okay. And what makes the speaker someone I should listen to regarding this topic? Like, who cares? If I gave you advice on like fixing your car, don't listen, okay? Because I have no clue. But if I gave you advice on teaching, yeah, okay, I've been doing it for a really long time. I am an expert in that. What makes the speaker someone I should listen to? Okay, I did that one. The writer or speaker is of good sense, good moral character, or good intentions. That's another element of this persuasive writing technique. And I'm going to show you when I move to the next slide, okay? For instance, look at this picture here. Let's say you're sick and you need a pill and you make an appointment with your pediatrician and she gives you a prescription to take it. Are you likely to take it? Just happened to us at our house. So she has ethos, this lady here. You may not understand all of the medical information she gives you, but you trust her and you know that you can take that medication without being worried or concerned. If I get a prescription for my kids, they don't ask me, why should I take this? They take it because the doctor prescribed it. So that is having credibility, having ethos. This one I thought was fun. Let's say that this guy, okay, gave you a pill. Stop. All right. Just looking at the image, does this guy have ethos? He's collecting cash. He's got the medicine in a little baggie, and he's wearing this really shady hoodie. So if this guy said, oh yeah, take this for your cough, would you do that? I hope not. Don't do it. It's a terrible idea. This guy does not have ethos. Okay. So that's that ethos idea, appealing to authority or appealing to, what did I say? I can't even remember anymore. So let me go to this commercial so you can see the ethos that's happening in this ad.
You're an AT&T small business expert.
Sure am.
My staff could use your help staying in touch with customers.
AT&T can help you stay connected.
Am I seeing double?
No, ma'am. Our AT&T buy one, get one free makes it easier for your staff to send appointment reminders to your customers.
And share promotions on social media?
You know it.
Oh, now I'm seeing dollar signs.
You should probably get your eyes checked. Get one, babe.
Optometry humor.
Right now, get up to $650 in credits to help.
You're an AT&T.
He can help you stay connected. Sure am.
My staff could use your... You're an AT&T small business expert.
Sure am.
My staff could...
So did you hear the ethos there? She said, are you a business expert? And he said, I am. And then he went to give us his credentials. So that's where you see the ethos part coming in. Okay, see if I can move to the next slide here. Why can't I move on? Technical problems. Okay, finally. I didn't want to have to stop the video and start over. All right, so that's a little brief little lesson on ethos. Let's move on to logos. So logos, you can hear the Greek root there, logic. And logos is a persuasive technique that appeals to your intellect. This is the one that's probably the most accurate of the three because you're appealing to reason. You are appealing to the left side of the brain, which makes smart decisions rooted in logic. And I put a couple of things in here. The logic things are numbers, facts, polls, statistics. You're never going to go wrong when you follow those kinds of evidence-based ideas because then you can prove it. All right, these can be proven. So look at this ad. This is an ad that's based in logic. Okay, so they're not trying to sell you on anything manipulative or they're not trying to deceive you. They're just giving you the facts straight up. Okay, so they're saying, hey, eat these chips because they're only 100 calories. Let me tell you about the other chips that are not 100 calories. And they go and give you facts, nutritional facts to help you make a wise decision. So this is 100% an appeal to reason using logos, logic. Okay. All right, let's keep going forward. And another example, I love this one. If you wanted to convince someone to drive slower and to follow the speed limit, does this ad provide logic for the driver? Let's take a closer look at this ad. Hit at 40 miles per hour, 70% chance I'll die. Hit at 30 miles per hour, there's an 80% chance I'll live. Now, I have to tell you, there's a little pathos in here, which we're going to get to, but you'll see the statistics. They were straight up with you in stats. Here are the facts. All right. So if I'm driving and I'm thinking, and this sticks into my memory about the facts of driving at that speed limit or what driving slower does, this is it, right? They're giving you straight up statistics. All right. And trying to make you follow the speed limit. Persuasive technique. Okay. Here's the ad. Bounty. We've all seen these Bounty commercials. So I want you to ask yourself as you're watching this, how does this ad appeal to your logic? All right.
Got it?
Got it.
It's slippery.
Yes. Quick! The quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker and is 2 times more absorbent than the leading ordinary brand.
Hey, look. I got it.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
So they went and actually what they did, let me just go back here, is they went and gave you some facts, but they also did kind of like a lab. They did a comparison and they gave you the statistics about how quick this can pick up a mess versus someone else's. Okay. So there is that one's appealing to your logic is I don't need to give you emotion or make you angry, or I don't need to give you a credible person. I'm just going to give you the facts and statistics about how fast we can pick things up. So there is your appeal to logic. Now, let's see if I can scroll through here. We're going to bump back out. Okay. So we've done ethos, appealing to authority. All right. Or ethics. We've done logos, appealing to your logic, appealing to your reason. And the last one we're going to talk about is pathos. Okay. Pathos, the Greek root for that means feeling. So pathos is used to trigger sympathy from the audience, to make the audience feel what the author wants them to feel. I have a couple typos I'll fix before I release it. So this one is an appeal to emotion. All right. And I'm going to tell you something. I am a sucker for this kind of commercial. I get suckered every single time because what this author or creator will do is they'll use pathos to draw pity from the audience. Another use of pathos would be to inspire anger. Okay. So maybe you watch something and you get mad about it. All right. That's an emotion. All right. And perhaps they're going to persuade you to feel fear, love, patriotism, anger, joy, guilt. These are very, very effective ways to persuade people. However, I have to tell you, it's also manipulative. All right. And I know that I've watched commercials and at the end, I'm like, that was the greatest commercial. And then I think, wait, why am I crying? What was the point of crying with that product? Like I've asked myself that. So yes, it's very effective. It's a great tool to use, but it is a little manipulative. Okay. It is a strategy, I will say. All right, let's go to the example here. I love this. Coca Cola is famous for using pathos to sell their soda. So if you look at this Coca Cola ad, they're trying to say, if you drink a Coke, you'll experience happiness. So I put, look at the ad. It actually says, look how sunny and bright it is. It's a beautiful color. There's a little ladybug over here. And it says, open a Coke, open happiness. Well, who doesn't want happiness? Everybody wants happiness. So if you're saying, hey, if I open this Coke, I'm going to open happiness. Yes, I will buy you. And quite honestly, Coke does make me happy. And I do buy it. So anyway, it's a little bit of a trick, okay? Because, I don't think Coke has any medicine inside to suddenly fill you with joy, but they're trying to connect those two emotions together, Coke with happiness, so that you'll purchase it, okay? Now, I'm going to tell you something. This commercial gets me every time. And I'm going to be honest with you. I try not to cry when I watch it because I've seen it 100 times, but I do cry every single time. So let's watch this Pathos commercial on Chevy.
When was this building built?
It's old, but it has big windows and lots of light. I don't understand. Did I do something wrong? Are you breaking up with me?
Slow and steady.
Trans, the official sudden Vanticles. This is Maddie.
I told you, it gets me every time. Okay, so the car is basically saying that it could be your best friend like that dog, but we all know that's not true. But it still gets you every time, and I think about Chevy and that commercial. See, I'm crying like an idiot. So there is a good use of pathos, all right, to get you right in your heart, and to use your emotions to get you to buy a product. I wonder if you're crying too. Are you crying? I'm crying. You're not crying. I'm crying. Or I'm crying. You're not crying. Okay. So let's go to the review here. The 3 persuasive writing techniques are ethos, appeal to authority; logos, appeal to reason; pathos, appeal to emotion. And I love this little clip art, because this shows you the heart for pathos. Here's a little ribbon for ethos, credibility, and logos, your brain, okay, logic. So let's just watch this last review video on all 3 types of persuasive writing techniques.
How do you persuade someone to see things your way? The Greek philosopher Aristotle had some good ideas on how to persuade people. Among his most powerful techniques were what he called the 3 appeals, designed to ask an audience to believe his argument. Aristotle called these 3 appeals ethos, pathos, and logos. Ethos appeals to the audience by asking them to trust the person making the argument. Pathos appeals to the audience's emotions, asking them to believe because they care. Logos appeals to the audience's sense of logic and rationality, asking them to believe because the argument makes sense. Using the appeals can make your writing or speaking more persuasive, and if you can spot them when they're being used or misused by others, you can also protect yourself against manipulation. Let's examine the 3 appeals more closely. First up, ethos. One way to win over a skeptical audience is to convince them that you're trustworthy, knowledgeable, and well-meaning. You can build ethos by referencing relevant experience, by explaining your credentials, or even by using good sources to show that you know your subject. When presenting, dressing and speaking professionally will boost your audience's confidence in you. When writing, making sure your documents have a professional tone and are error-free can also enhance your ethos. Next, we'll address pathos, the appeal to emotion. Many popular movies, books, and songs appeal to emotion. These appeals often engage positive emotions like joy or hope, but other times. No, please. Pathos can engage negative emotions as well. However, in academic writing, a simple tug on the heartstrings won't suffice. To use pathos effectively, incorporate vivid imagery and intentionally emotional and impactful adjectives and verbs. Academics can support their arguments most effectively with logos, an appeal to logic and rationality, by building an argument with facts, figures, and well thought out reasoning. By appealing to the audience with logic, you draw your conclusions as rational, rendering the opposition less persuasive, sometimes even as irrational. Not all conclusions are easy to prove, though, and the responsibility falls on you to make the case and convince the audience. While many arguments rely on one or two of these methods, some of the most effective use a combination of all three. The most important aspect of persuasive writing is to create a credible line of thought for your message that audiences will follow. If you do it carefully, they very well might arrive at the same conclusion. For more information on
Okay, guys, so that was your lesson on persuasive writing techniques. I hope that you enjoyed it. Again, I hope we have enough resources here for you. Have a great week. Message us, read your feedback, and if you have any questions, let us know. All right, great seeing you guys. Bye.